yesterday. He was insane, map by map.
Indeed he was, and there were some insane moments overall for the Fiend camp. There were several players that I think have standout potential to be picked to the MVP for that particular series, so now they look to try to become MVPs here of this series as well. Complexity, their toughest task to date as the pistol round goes live. Here on Nuke, with Complexity on the T-side start, they're going to be playing into the red box default. Bit of a gap in that smoke for Red Star to exploit.
A very heavy ramp take coming through for the city side, but it's just Blamer from Poison forward outside, dealing with those couple of players. Red Star just getting punished, and Complexity, all these picks have just come in so quickly.
Great shots in, efficient stuff from the T side line. Dreamer and Victor, the last couple of players, really trying to see if they can overwhelm and catch off some sort of headshot, some sort of exit frag, but I don't believe that there's going to be a definitive round for them here on the Fiend camp. They'll try. Tag up Poison again. We talked about that rivalry in great extent, but he's going to be able to maintain the advantage above Dreamer, already getting a kill in this round as well. Blame F comes in to bail out his teammate, and Victor now knows that he's completely out of dodge in this one.
That was an excellent round out for Complexity. Just the outside default, just finding so much damage. Great shot from BlameF for him to find 3 kills in the round overall with the P250. And we saw for Fiend, they were just so out of position. They stacked up ramp, they had 3 players in total, and then as soon as the contact came in outside, it almost felt like they didn't have a chance in some of those duels.
And again, that's what we're talking about the most when it comes to the differences between these two sides. It's not in the maps, it's not in the specifics, it's all in the firepower and the talent on the server. And indeed, Complexity showing that they have got the better talents overall. So they'll face up, get the pistol, get the early guns out super, super quick.
Fiend looking to go back in with the force buy. This was something up against Extremum yesterday. We did see quite successful. Everyone think back to what we saw in Ancient from Red Star in that last map with the Deagle out on the A site, but it's going to be a tough affair, especially when you've got so many rifles to deal with from Complexity.
And bursting through on the face. Khalil out for config, looking down against the Fiend camp, unable to gather up the opening stars that they want to. I mean, Fiend are playing pretty passively away from them. Careful positioning being held by the boys of Complexity, knowing that Fiend probably have some force buy potential in this, and they should know that the Bulgarian side will have that force buy in. Definitely Poison's going to feed that information towards his team, but so far, Fiend are unable to get away with a kill.
That's a lot passive here for the T-side in comparison to that pistol round. Now seeing the rotation from Red Star come in from the heart, but just being mollied away means that the ramp take is coming in pretty easily.
Very fast in with the flashbangs coming over. Forcing their way forward, at least that's what they're going to try to do here. Dreamer acts up, leaving it for config instead. BlameF finally finds Red Star on a slight overextension to get back towards Secret, so the opening kill has gone away. Complexity just past the 40 seconds left on the clock. Victor caught off by Rush. Spray through on him and Poison with the Mac 10s involved. Config is going to find Bubble, and finally they do get control of the A site.
One notion you've got to imagine is going to be coming through as a regular factor is just a lot of holes in the defense from Fiend. Not necessarily them just being outplayed, but just Complexity getting the reads. We could just see in that round there how much map control they're getting, how they take that first fight out to sort of the ramp position, get them at advantage. Dreamer gets a little bit of an exit kill towards outside, but it still doesn't really make a massive amount. And even just the wrap coming in for Heaven, Victor's playing top heart, but he's got so many directions to look at.
Poison will get caught off by Han at least in this post-round, but won't be the round for Fiend. Mac 10 seeming to drop here out of this one. I think they actually lost one of the AKs with BlameF. So, slight deficit being taken on this one. Dreamer, unfortunately, cannot find another exit frag, but again, dropping an AK, that's going to be lost money here for the Complexity side and Fiend. Got to go in with the eco in this next round, unfortunately, so there will not be a major buy to punish.
This is a great chance for Rush to just start farming up a bit of cash. Actually going to chuck that Mac 10 over to Poison, knowing that probably he's going to want that AWP to follow, sitting around that 2k floater. So with just a couple of kills with that extra win bonus of converting the third round will allow the big green to come out in the next.
The smoke's up, looking up and over. BlameF focusing fire on the first. Spraying back on a second man as well. Dreamer will find JKS. Red Star tapping away manically, hoping that he can catch off a cheeky kill with his P2K. The USP of Victor will hope for similar stances, but not going to make it happen in this one. Dreamer grabbed that one rifle. Does pick up another kill with it on config, so damage again will be done to the Complexity line. A 5 versus 3, however. Overall, the money line should build, and they should be able to get into the B site no problems.
Dreamer just looking for something. 1v3, his best chance is just hold on to this AK. You know it's only an eco round, so you've done a little bit of damage so far, but just give the respect up to the T side, give him the round. Don't look for any more than that.
Bomb plant will be secured. The 3-0 start for Complexity here on their T side line of Nuke. Definitely an encouraging start here for the internationals. And they were the ones that picked this map, so seeing them have a decent showing on it, as you mentioned before, not just a pick towards their favour, but also a punish pick against the likes of Fiend, who we know usually don't have a great basis on this map when it comes to even the tier 2 space. I mean, as of late, they've been losing to some major opposition. So, Complexity, the ones in full control of this one, and Fiend is only going to be the first 3 rounds, so the rifles will come out now.
You've got to wonder too, does the lack of coach or an analyst from Fiend affect them in any sort of way going up against tier 1 competition? We know that a couple of events ago they had Shockwave filling in for a couple of events as their coach that used to coach the Wendigo side, but right now they don't really have any of that support staff, and while they have been doing very well in
he guns out the AWPs in with Red Star and Dreamer, and we saw obviously Red Star have a great AWP map over on Inferno yesterday, so let's see whether he can repeat here on Nuke. He's looking towards outside initially, taking his first pop shot past that smoke. He's completely blinded off though, so smokes will come down from the T side instead, and they'll cross towards Secret.
And it has to be sort of an anchor roll sort of thing of the positioning of the CTs, because we're seeing Han just drop to decon. He's not even got the AWP in this round. Fast ring coming out from the secret position. Han doing a fair bit of damage and trying to tag him up, get away with a couple of kills. Bubble getting involved too, and JKS is now the last one left.
Suddenly, they all just fed themselves into one position, and one by one they fell. Han unable to get traded. And JKS, surely he should just be overwhelmed at this moment. Peeking out, Victor sees the man. Adjustments can come through, so even if Victor goes down, which he won't, the trades will be there, and Fiend will find the first.
Jeez, that looked very impressive. Complexity tried to just wide swing together out from that secret position, trade out hard and decon, but Bubble just came at a really good time. See how quick that rotate came down for the Vents position. They were able to get that crossfire set, and Hard just did so much damage.
Yeah, triple up for him again. Just so it felt so easy for him on each of his faces. I don't know why the T-side didn't peak as one big unit. They're expecting that they might have given up a decent spray down, but giving up each individual fight is just as bad. First to the board of Fiend. Complexity didn't look good in that one. They will of course buy back into round 5, but it doesn't look great on the money line. A Galil out for JKS, a Deagle for Config to back up the 2 AKs in the AWP. It's not a fully defined buy here.
Meanwhile, you look at the weaponry over on that CT side, recovering 3 AKs from that last round of that entire annihilation out from Secret. Complexity just trying to work an outside default. It is a little bit silent. They don't use a massive amount of those nades early on.
Watching. U2 over the flashbangs, Red Star. Trying to reposition and hope for contact, but Zor hasn't been allowed to frag in the way he'd like to at this moment. 60 seconds left. CT's just rotate out of position. Complexity hold their line. Hold into the lobby control.
It's going to come down to this hold from Han and Victor. How off guard do they get caught from the upper take?
They've got their AK set. Watching main, watching the entrance out of the hut control. Rush starting to lean forward here. The scopes continue to make a little bit of noise. Off-cut barrel spotted, that's perfect. Victor does get 2 players on the lineup though. Playmef responds towards Bubble, 3 versus 3. Config close, he drops back to the man, advantage for Fiend, and 20 seconds remain. The bomb's in the open. Playmef knows that he's got to win this fight on Victor, and he does, alongside Dreamer falling in heaven. So it's a Red Star, caught back off by Poison, and Complexity steal the round.
And that looks really panicky there from Fiend straight away. Han just gets caught off guard. The crossfire not being established. Victor on the back of the side does so much damage, but the rotations just get caught so damn quickly. Red Star out from main, rotators up from the heaven position. What a beautiful sight take for Complexity. So well read from them to just deal with the CTs being caught off guard.
Early tactical timeout coming in from Fiend as a result here. The first 5 rounds, and as you mentioned, they did look so panicked and so scrappy. Definitely a far cry from the confidence we've seen from this team in the past, but understandable considering they are up against Complexity. number 14 team in the world, so it's always going to be a tough task here for the Fiend camp. Can they mount up to the challenge from here on out? They've now got a feeler of how the T-side are playing from here. They've still got a limited buy as well on the T-side, something that you rarely see from a T-side win. Double ops can return from Dreamer and Red Star. They've managed the money so well, so let's see it carry forward into a reset round.
They've got to get these AWPs fired up. So far, Red Star and Dreamer haven't been able to get away with a little bit. Just a pop shot through that smoke, looking for just a couple more fires through. But if Blame F is just a lurk outside, he's by himself.
Dreamer's by himself as well in the ramp position. Not even a player that can rotate from hell. Very inside, and Poison will catch him off as a result of this. There is a backstab involved from the likes of Han as the AWP of Red Star tries to get a trade back in. A 5 versus 4 already. Fiend might want to consider the save with this, depending on how quickly they get towards the retake positions, and if they can get a kill early on before the bomb goes down. They will establish a lot of presence here towards ramp in particular. Bubble's going to drop down, make a bit of noise. A player in the corner though for Blade. F Bubble does get Poison. Han gets called back off to the 4 versus 3 as the plant is secured.
City's coming in quickly, trying to create a lot of chaos on the side, but that frag being lost might just call in the save. 2v3, they want to have a crack at this.
Slow facing in from Bubble, caught off by Config, now left towards Victor at the double doors. M4 in hand, and probably a rotation away for the man. Yeah, he's going to rotate out of dodge, get past this smoke. I think there's a player that's watching the gap in it. No, actually, he's watching the vents entrance, so Victor's got to escape through secret. That's more than fine. Grab the rifle, save it in this one. A 1v3 is way too difficult.
Complexity again, just the entries are really what's helping a lot of these site takes come through. Victor just begging to hold on to that M4, just get away with something into the next round, but really you're in a position where all you're going to have is a couple of upgraded pistols around it. And I almost look at this double AWP setup from Fiend and say, okay, don't go double AWP setup again, or get them in different positions, because honestly, Dreamer and Red Star, they're getting hit by so much util, they can't even post.
No kills for Red Star so far in this matchup, and that's concerning to me. All 5 rounds of Complexity have been opening kills as well, so Fiend have got to try to tip those win conditions to their favour and do a little bit more. Minute and 40. Very early, and again, careful from Complexity into ramp default this time. Dreamer's there to receive it, or boost up again for Poison. This worked well last time. It's going to work well this time.
Dreamer's just getting picked off out from ramp. Another good shot coming in for Poison. This time it's only up against a Deagle. Bubble has been able to sneak in the back line a couple of times, but every time he does this, they've already moved away from ramp and towards lower.
Spam Deagle shot for Han. Can't connect it all against Rush 5 on 3. Now one plant will be secured. Victor caught off by Blame F next, and that's the only rifle now dropping out of favour for Fiends. I would say save, but if they can't get a hold of that M4, it doesn't really mean much to them. Bubble will try to look for some sort of flank position. USP down into the A site, does catch off one player, doesn't get the kill towards him though. Config has this knife out, that'll Bubble get 1 and 2 kills. No kit in play for him though, so he's got to hold on to this rifle.
Another save attempt trying to come through for the Fiend side, and for Complexity, well, they do have a little bit of a hunt outside actually. Rush, can he create the angle onto Bubble, thinking he's going to be a little bit higher than where he actually is? More damage coming through.
That's really not that terrible. Fiend only had the 1 M4 to work with in this round. Other than that, it was all pistols. So 3 casualties, 3 AK. They are making some of these rounds pretty close. Of course, Complexity are still getting the rounds themselves, but it's not bad for the Bulgarians.
It's okay, but they need rounds, really. Complexity are just... they're doming these opening man advantages, and out towards ramp, we are seeing a big weakness. Poison just keeps getting boosted up on that angle and just keeps hitting the shot onto Dreamer. Complexity up on screen, looking very, very fiery, and this is one hell of a way to start off on the T side of Nuke.
Flashes in, Molotov's out, they're going to burn alive here for Complexity. Fast rush into the A site's going to go awry. Bubble and Victor. Crossfire, lock him down, get the 2 frags in this round. No trades for Fiend.
More spray, more spam trying to come through, get a CT overly aggressive. Bubble giving a little bit too much here from Hut, but it's already a good couple of frags to come in.
Slow walk, seeing Complexity. Position for M4's out, JKS spotted, sprayed up, good shot back from Red Star, can return. Two-man advantage for Fiend, maintain the further blind shots, not quite connected towards them, but he still allows stalling time and landing legs to allow the AK to come forward back towards the other side of the ramp. Entrance BlameF tagged up by a pistol poison, can't get a trade back, but either way they're being sandwiched here, so it's only a matter of time before the kills start coming in.
Yeah, Bubble with his backstab. BlameF's turned around, but he's bitch so low about it. Poison now got to try and clutch a 1v3.
All Bulgarian scenario. Ex-teammates involved. Victor didn't see him. I don't know if Poison saw him either. Looking out to heaven, I don't think a locker room window's been opened up as well, so they're going to peek out of this position. They're going to have to break it. 30 seconds. Where does Poison play with this? All a case of timing. Mission Bubble. Face back in on Victor is also not as successful, so Fiend will find their second.
It's all about the opening couple of kills on just the rush out complexity. Almost a little bit surprised about that change of pace, right? It's been very methodical, relatively slow on the defaults, and then almost out of nowhere we see that quicker move. Rush just trying to put the smoke down the molly, rush out from Hart. Spammed up by Bubble and Victor, and that almost just makes it a little bit easier for the ramp players to just slow that whole round down, get that pick off from Red Star, play a little bit more defensive, and for Fiend, that's their second round.
The complexity still lead by a margin of 4, but as you mentioned, an all-important one for the Fiend side there, second to the board with a bit of a weird sort of half-bite coming in for complexity, a hodgepodge investment with the hero AK, the scout out for Poison. The Eagles in on a couple of players as well, lacking in Kevlar pretty significantly. Bubble gets that headshot in on Poison, kicks things off fantastic, removes one rifle from play.
That re-smoke down towards Squeaky or this backstab outside to do a lot of damage, but Bubble still finds more kills. Now BlameF gets involved.
Now he's got 3 more CTs to find, 3 very different angles to check here for the rifle, and as the pistols begin, they start dropping. There's not enough firepower involved, and BlameF will get picked up, so the only chance has been denied here for the T side. Rush, seeing if we can take any more lives with him, do some more damage to Fiend perhaps, but less than likely, I want to say. 45 seconds to do so, spotted out through the door. Han gets his kill back to return 3 to the board of Fiend. But again, it was a bit of a half hodgepodge buy, so Complexity have money to reinvest.
They didn't have a massive amount to work with. They obviously had that hero AK outside, which did a decent job. Unfortunately, all the other members of the T side that were almost just baits in the pistols just kept falling to a lot of spams in from Squeak Door. And get those rifles forward. BlameF has been very, very much on the charge in terms of the fragging abilities. 10 kills already going into the 10th round. And yeah, this stat line, opening man advantage, seems so important for Complexity.
Every time they open the round, every time they win the round. Mac tends to win for JKS, so it's not the most ideal of the buy-ups here for the Complexity side. And hey, do you know what? You can repeat the same scenario for Fiend. Opening frag seeming to be the missing piece of the puzzle for both sides. Smoke set, util in towards outside. Complexity can play the red box default again.
I just give a little bit more context to that as well. It does show that how these opening man advantage, every time we've seen a 5-on-4, it's not like we've gone 4-on-4 within the next 15, 20, 25 seconds. Has taken a little bit more longer time than that. Fake smokes towards outside with the lurk out from BlameF, but this might just be another. That one-on-one trade, but the bomb being dropped in the vent position meant that even for BlameF, he had control of lower. He got out from secret, but he had no teammates.
And 2 rounds the difference. Fiends Having a really, really good time about this here. Back in full control with the rifles down against the pistols one more time. Just the Eagles across their board. A couple of players with Kevlar, but it's not going to help them. Poison picked up next by the AWP. Frag for Han, frag for Red Star. Flameth almost becoming the next victim there towards the outside position. Does get a tag off for his trouble, but still nothing much. 67 HP for Red Star.
Yeah, any of the viewers that are watching this game and the next one, you're going to have some joy Orpin coming forward. Obviously, Red Star and Han coming forward on the city side. Poison as well. Haven't really seen him on the AWP, but Deco in that next game for one win. Fiend, on the other hand, this up against the Eco, they're dealing with it pretty effectively. Red Star's really the only one that's taken damage.
That's because of his aggressive AWPing style. He's finally started to really get going in this. Reposition back towards lobby. Towards ramp, looking into lobby. Captain Blame F and the AUG Dreamer lines up the last couple of kills. All 5 alive for Fiend. Perfect round. Complexity back up on the buy, I'd imagine. Pinnacle odds do still favour them, despite them being down on this current map. I guess that's the series odds. Dev.gg/odds if you want to get more details on that. And I think you can use code SPRING21 for a bonus on your deposit. Right now, Fiend are depositing a serious chance to take the lead back for Complexity. What a start it was for the T side, but now the CTs are bringing it back.
Dreamer's starting to find a little bit more confidence out from Ramp, especially in the rifle v rifle rounds. He's had a tough time so far. Come through from JKS, trying to get out from Squeak Door.
Incendiary is in. JKS caught off by Victor. Another opening kill, but the CT forces Rush and Victor and Config going back and forth as appropriate. 3 versus 3 situation. Spray through the CD players going to get set up. They might have to concede the bomb plant, but the retake will certainly be on here for Fiend.
Get that bomb plant. This is going to be a tough retake. They've got some nades to work with, but it all just comes down to how quickly can they find these kills. Poison's getting tagged up now.
Coming out, dodging Incendiaries forward. AUG spray catches Config. Next 2 players. And Config leaning up as Red Star's AWP looks down range, hoping to see contact, hoping to see a player up on top of Mini. Config will not give up his angle though. Again, back to the passive defaults for Complexity, which they were working in the early game, but a lot of the time they run the timer so low, and Fiend have still held a confident defense.
Yeah, Red Star outside is going to just be a bit of a nuisance if they start getting some deep map control. It all just comes to how they're going to flash them off angle, how they're going to just be able to jiggle peek and at least gather that early info. Because if they go in dry and start wrapping in towards main or just dying down in towards that secret position of where Blame F is, that's where it could get a bit difficult.
Nate is involved, Incendiaries up. Smoke set as they make their way in. Complexity. Quick out of the gate, flashes over from Bubble as Red Star's AWP catches Config. Bubble can drop, Rush next, 5 versus 3. Burst through on JKS makes it a double. Triple perhaps against Poison. They've been unscathed mostly thus far here on the T side line. As Victor and Red Star actually, they clean house towards outside. And Fiend take the lead.
Well, just when Complexity take a tactical, that is the kind of round that comes through very, very streak heavy. And we saw that at moments up against Extreme yesterday. But Fiend just look comfortable on this CT side. Great little burst out for the back of default silos from Bubble. Jeez, this is looking a little bit scary now for the international squad.
It is. It really, really is. Tech 9s, PT50s, the Eagles, the AK also out for playing FAUG, the Dreamer. Takes 2 frags, trying to make it a triple. Not the biggest responsive in, but the Eagles shouldn't be able to handle the likes of Bubble and better firepower and the rifle involved. Red Star there behind him to bait them out. Leaving Poison as the only man left. AUG picked up 1v4 though. Fiend are going to win the CT side. It is the CT side, so there's a little bit less to be excited about in that respect, but the confidence start, the complexity had, Fiend have done so much to bring this back.
And it's not every day that Fiend get to play a team like a Complexity, a high-caliber Tier 1 opposition. The last time it probably would have happened on a little bit more of a regular basis had to be the core of Windigo, when I think about it, because really after that, we just haven't seen it for a very long time.
Yeah, Fiend to put in the hard yards, trying to break through that glass ceiling, try and do what that fabled Windigo roster was doubted to do for so long, still able to pull it off. Forward, he's seen 2 T-side players and just sprays them up. Lands the headshot on the first man, took a while to the second, but the bomb's been dropped. It's a 5v3 already.
Oh, just flashing through the smoke. They're playing with so much confidence. They're looking so on point here. Poison has been able to find a little bit of a gap. They've escaped A on this CT side.
Bubble has caught up Poison next, so they make their way into the A side, but still, he gets his pick in. JKS and Blame F. Blame F downstairs with his back turned. Tapped up by Dreamer. 1v5 for JKS here. What a half this has turned into for Fiend. I'm getting shades of that Inferno again against the Extremum series. Fiend were looking fantastic on that first half. The CT side eventually in this one got going to such sheer confidence, and that potential we talked about for Fiend, it's showing here against Tier 1 opposition. I have a really good feeling about where this series goes from here. For now, it is 9-6, and it will be Cole's CT side up next.
And what's surprising me the most is it's actually not the star players that are really delivering here to come out from Fiend. The in-game leader of Bubbles having a really sick map so far. Victor, their entry fragger, and a little bit more supportive in nature. He's getting real up there, and then everybody else is chipping in when necessary. But it seems to just be the Bubble show.
17 kills for him, backed up by Victor and Han at 11 and 10. Meanwhile, Blame F on 14, and some of his teammates are down in the lower regions at 7, 6, and 4. Small technical timeout. That's not a technical is not a thing. Actually, for Fiend over on their part here, not sure what's going on, but they've definitely got to be feeling the highs at the end of that last half. 8 rounds in a row for them. They get the pistol, they could turn it into 11 overall. A major opportunity to kick-start things here on the T side.
And even in this Spring 3 event, Nuke really hasn't been played a massive amount to come through from Fiend. They played it in a very, very early stage of regionals against 4 Glory, got a 16-14 result there, and then they played Iberian Family in the regional Swiss and got a 16-8. So, haven't really seen them on Nuke in this competition against some really proper competition. Yeah, Complexity. It started off so well, didn't it? Got the start, had the early pistol, lost their first, then converted back with 3, and then it was just round after round after round, and eventually just a solid streak for the Bulgarians.
A counterplay to everything that Complexity were doing in those last 8 rounds. And again, it leaves me excited. It leaves me really excited to see where this goes. We'll find out whether or not it will continue down that path as we get to the pistol of the second half of the matchup. Again, 9-6 to the favour of Fiend. Opportunity to extend their round win streak to a few more in the second half. The utility setup will be on Red Star. Flashback HE for him. Bubble will also get a double flash and Molotov on the T side util basis. And it's straight pistols in Kevlar for Complexity. Not even a kit in play for the CT forces.
You gotta wonder for Fiend, do they use this util as a little bit more of a double fake, or just try and send it in towards the A side? Because everyone's grouped up for the upper take.
They've smoked off the mini entrance already. Okay, so there's flashes being put up here. The multiple position as JKS can use it towards heaven. That seems to be the call. As Victor draws first, got a half rush, gets one frag. Victor doubles up. Bomb plant can be secured for the moment though. Poison is 2 players to find and doesn't get any of them here. 4-on-2 scenario. Further taps out. Bubble gets config. Blame F, last man standing.
Jeez, that was well coordinated in from Fiend. So they put the early main smoke, waited, then they acted. Double flash comes through, Molly out to the closed vent position. Victor, the double entry onto the site was really what opened it up, and then Bubble chimes in as well.
And that will be that 10th. The streak to continue for Fiend. Complexity. Not much here for the likes of Blame F again, just to hold on to the weapon. And the Kevlar in particular to go back into the force buy with a slight little bit of an advantage, a slight little leg up. But nothing significant here. What a great pistol as well for Fiend. So well played, so well coordinated, read every single play. I mean, they had info to work with the footsteps being heard on top of Hut, but to read the other players and to successfully win those fights, like, Fiend are hitting the fever pitch now.
Yeah, they are, and they're hitting their shots, and you almost wonder with some of these Tier 2 teams, do you start getting a little bit nervous when you face off against the Tier 1 competition? It could look a little bit shaky, maybe some of the sprays are more sloppy than they usually are, but they are really hitting their shots, they're banging hard. Complexity going to be forced up into round 17. This is vital they convert the force.
AK's up first and foremost, so focused on the player in the corner. Russian JKS get a couple of kills for it. Config and follow suit with the man advantage, 3 versus 2. Caught off to the back, his Deagle comes up against Han. You said it was important to win the force. Well, Complexity most certainly have. Fiend are out on their ass.
Yeah, Bubble, there's just no chance this is going to happen. 29 points of health, he's got the util, but he's got to try and recover the bomb, get a bit of a way in which he can isolate some of these picks, and it just came with the distraction, how quickly that rotate came through, but just Config on the back line from ramp.
Bomb does get picked up by Bubble. It's got a smoke in hand. Flashbang as well will open up and close decon door with a smoke down as well to cover after the backline plant. 2 CTs coming in from the ramp position though. It's a straight shot in. Straight kill found. Easy as that for Cole. 7th to the CT board.
It's something extra. When you're in a 1v3, you think to yourself, okay, what's the best outcome? Take a one-on-one fight, win it out, then get traded? No, you want a bomb plan. Dive down towards that lower side, get that smoke down towards decon, buy you some extra little bit of cover in case the quick wrap comes in, and it's a little bit more, but, well, Pinnacle, it doesn't feel like a little bit more.
Still a lot of faith in Complexity, even though they're getting a little bit schooled in this one. I mean, they did just win the force buy, so there's always that. Even so, like, those odds with the way that this match is going, I mean, I'm not allowed to bet, but if I was, I'd take that. I'd really take that. Fiend has shown some serious potential in the last couple of days, and they're showing potential right here and now. AK's M4 scout out fast rushing the Fiend. Victor wasting no time. Sprays up, Eagle taps 2 to the head, trying to catch off Rush here towards the raft to see the player at heaven as well. Meanwhile, the T's have dived down and getting into the side of the plant.
Missed frag coming out. Config just being able to deal with the lurk for the top of ramp. Red Star getting proper aggressive. He's looking to take fights.
Oh, he's behind the Poison's caught. No, he's not. Player stuck out. What? Config doesn't know, but Red Star runs out of ammo anyway. And Bubble and Han here to play against them. 4v2 now, making it 1. Last man's well out of dodge. The bomb defuse will come through.
Bubble's just got to save onto the Galil. Red Star had such a great opportunity there. 2 kills could have been lined up, and unfortunately, the whiff shots came through. Config got that info so late on what the deal was. Fiend, do they force again is the big question. Money isn't perfect. Bubble can drop another AK.
Getting a bit concerned about communication and coordination here for Complexity. Like, that whole situation with the Rafters player, the Catwalk player, well, it was just so awkward. Config should have been able to turn that so quick off the back of that first contact. I still don't understand how that happened, but it doesn't equate to a round for Fiend. It doesn't equate to damage being done to Complexity. They have lost the pistol, taken conversions. Now we're down to Deagles on the half bite. Fiend will have their guns out for round 20. Complexity for now, they're in control.
Yeah, Red Star a bit hot-headed after that one, just spamming wildly. Blame F just taking the jewel straight away out from that secret position. That Bubble being dealt with.
Oh, but Config gets responded to by a Red Star.
Ooh.
The shots of Poison not connecting either. Who's in? Nade's coming in for Han, still caught off guard with the pistol players. They'll wrap in. Scout picked up the Victor now as JKS tries to fall back out of heaven. Tagged up alongside BlameF down at 72 and 34 respectively. Rush at 100 is in the vents. He's going to start looking outside.
They really don't mind making noise. We saw that in their last game in the playoff round 1 against Extremum. Just how they like to use the sound cues, try and bait the overextension. And for BlameF, he's thinking about a fight out from Secret.
The M4 wrapping the rush. Seen Red Star drops that bomb. All important kill. Swing back up from Secret for BlameF. Will look for his teammate. Not going to try and hunt for the kills themselves. And AK gets recovered by Han as a 3-on-2 does ensue. The Eagles tap in. Both players now known entities to the complexity side. 30 seconds. Han's going to keep his head on the swivel. Smoke out towards the squeak door. Flash in to try and play after that to JKS. But JKS still wins the fight. And Victor all alone in heaven. Caught off. Tagged up. JKS gets his triple with complexity. Just hold the round.
Yeah, that was a fantastic hold for JKS. Just not getting baited. Not getting flustered in the position where there is a lot of pressure on him to perform. Being able to commit towards a spray, quite long range out to that main position, getting a tidy triple in the round. For Complexity, they're starting to really narrow down the scoreline deficit. 1 round is now the difference, but we do have the AKs coming forward for Fiend.
Nades up on Red Star, doing damage to him. Fiend losing their first man very early. Start out for the Complexity side as they re-establish their confidence in the early half like they did over on the T side as well. Look at how far BlameF wants to extend and everything. Bubble not seen. Might see him now. BlameF stuff around. How has he gotten here? Bubble caught. Dreamer responds to rush. JKS gets him to return on a 4 versus 2. 1 casualty is all they'll take it for Complexity. But Victor still has a bit of an advantageous angle here against Poison. Can't catch the player off guard though. He's making noise. He's falling back.
He's desperate for a pick, desperate for a bit of an opening, but he's got to try and regroup with Han, and unfortunately, that bomb's just getting wrapped in by JKS. Aggressed out from lobby, that round's done.
Yeah, great kill for him. Great positioning and great patience not to make any noise for this. They don't know where Victor is, so in theory, there's a way you could catch them off guard, but with them all being so spread out, as soon as he gets that first kill, they'll know where he is, they'll know where he's coming from. He's also going to get the bomb back at Silo, and JKS is counted for this here. He's looking back to the lobby entrance.
The nades from Complexity to start off the round. Double HE in. BlameF aggressive. A Red Star just getting picked off by the AWP at Poison. Everything was so perfection. Fiend having some difficulty on T side. It has not been easy by any stretch of the imagination. And now this is really where I think a team like Complexity could start getting fired up. They've got money behind them. They've got AKs on the city side. Fiend have got a hero AK going into the next round because of the save from Victor. But all they're going to have is pistols around it.
Counter-terrorists win.
Yeah, not a lot of cash in the reserve, not a lot of money flowing in from the loss bonus. And now those pinnacle odds start looking a little bit more appropriate, I think. Complexity, 4 in a row. Biggest round streak they've had so far in this map up. It does equalize against the Fiend side here. Probably should take a lead as well, as you mentioned. Only pistols around this AK. Going pretty heavy with the investment, but still a half buy will come in from the T's.
Yeah, Han up on screen. Needs to be able to try and back up that AK the best they can. Another quick nade usage coming through, but Victor just running through it.
Straight up, straight through, catching Rush off guard with a kill on Victor. Fantastic frag, 5 on 4. Incendiary's up, going to try driving back out of the position. His confident Poison continue finding all the picks. Dreamer, Red Star, now just Dreamer. Living on a dream that does not come true in this round. Poison with a triple, and Complexity with the lead.
That was some very clinical shots coming out from Poison, hitting some decent flicks out to that ramp entrance. But it was that first play, really. Victor just trying to get ahead of the nades out from Squeak Door, try and make immediate impact with that hero AK. Just doesn't happen at all. And Complexity, I asked the question to you, Jay, are we just going to see a massive streak like we did from Fiend in the first half, but for the international squad now?
Very possible. Very possible, one will say. Will it be enough to get past the 16th? That is the big question. And will there be a responsive in from Fiend later? Or Poison insert himself into that line and kick things off in this round. Again, getting the all-important opening frag, which has been all-important for both sides so significantly here. Bubble also tagged up to 59, and a spray from blamF comes through against him, eventually catches his man. Poison only now getting tagged up here. Other than that, it was completely flawless for Complexity.
And now they go quicker. Now they try and go out from Ram. Victor might just have to try and take a jewel straight away. Does lose the fight to Victor. Poison might try and look for a bit of a pick back, but really he's just got to hold on to his life.
Well, Hahn missed the jump, connected his head against the rim of the doorway. Cost him a bit of a jump face in against against Poison, so they cannot get the kill. 4-on-3 scenario. Complexity are in control. The Fiend is still fighting back.
It all just comes to the lack of information now for Complexity. JKS, oh, this is slightly aggressive.
We'll see Dreamer on the shoulder bait, get the kill on him anyway. Victor and Hahn not being seen by blamF. They could walk straight into JKS when they get the frag against him. No, they won't. He drops the bomb, looks for his triple and gets it in hole. And Complexity back in full control for this Fiend. Probably a half buy, got no bomb plan.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're having a tough time here on T-side. The walk setups, the early rushes, the defaults. First of all, they're getting hammered by utility. So much nade damage coming through. And even for Poison, he's completely blind in that situation. And then you look at that second kill onto Bubble. blamF's just spamming.
And JKS really getting so much out of that position. He just couldn't get counteracted on the A defensive. Now Convin's looking for his own multi-frag round. Gets Victor to blamF with 1 and 2. Not quite actually. Convin gets 2 of his own. Triple up for him. Sees race on the last man left. Lands the tag. Second face. Poison does see the shots. Does finish off the job. And Complexity. It was a half play against Fiend. But the rifles come out in true form. If Complexity get this next round, it might be map done.
Will be given the big green, and he just hits connection after connection, even getting pressured by the quick pace out towards that ramp. Position, that crossfire between blamF and Config was really everything. Poison even being able to find that last pick, get them up to 13 and closer and closer to winning their map pick now.
The AKs saved in for 2 individuals on JKS and Rush. The double op setup out for Poison and Config now. We've seen very little of this here for Complexity. Sorry, quite a lot for Fiend in their CT half. Only now Cole are going to break it out, and it might be the finishing touches they need on what has been a fantastic second half for them. Losing the pistol, getting every round other than that, but JKS might see something back here in round 24. Dreamer and Rush, more trades, 3v3, secondary ult peeks back in for Config. Desperate to find a pick in, but Rush is going to go down, so it's left all to him and blamF in this round. Plant will be secured, open for main. I don't think they want to go for the retake here. I mean, they've got money, but shots are not connecting past smoke.
Just look for damage, look for those exit kills. Dreamer just spams right through the main smoke, and blamF is now the last one left. Cam just recover that AWP from the heaven position if he likes, putting those nades down out towards the front of Hut, trying to see if he could get a little bit of a duel. Victor taking a lot of damage to that incendiary, but no one's really peeking. blamF having a difficult time just spotting any of the T-side players down onto the site. Bubble finishing off the job, and it just seemed that for Complexity, they were maybe taking those fights too quickly in heaven and started getting punished by the Ts.
This blind spray from Dreamer, that it was most impressive to me. So well done for him. And that breaks the 7-round win streak here for Complexity. The second round of the half going the way of Fiend. 2 more to make up. Complexity still in the lead. And they've still got money as well, even after this buy, going for the single orb as opposed to double orb. And the defaults here for the Fiend side, a bit more carefully positioned, but still looking towards the outside position overall. It's Config leaning in for shots on, but so far getting nothing here.
That's a bit of an interesting stat line, in-game leader versus in-game leader. Surprising to see it be 6-2 for blamF, considering how strong really Bubble has been the majority of this map so far. Very, very cautious and slow pace for Fiend going into round 25, not really giving up a lot of early information with the sound cues, not using a massive amount of that utility to start. Finally, some outside smokes being lined up, and a missed ramp smoke to come through from Config.
Big gap to work off. Dreamer overextends, will look straight down into the wrap control and see nothing towards the back box, so Config's got to hold close and just wait for someone to overextend. Meanwhile, smoke's down outside. Hover off red box indicating they are going for a default there, but in reality they're going inside towards Squeaky here.
JKS has been great with the multi-kills towards the top side anchor roll, but it seems like it's just going to be a pop-out.
And flashes in, will not connect to anyone here on the T side. M4's ready to receive it, backing up to the vent corner. Close vent corner, rush on site, caught off by Bubble. Victor dealt with JKS, playing with a couple of decent picks back on, able to respond with the AWP. 3v3, Poison's tag, still finds a frag. Nailed against him to finish off the job, but the M4 up in the rafters gets in the forwards. All the Red Star now, 1-on-2, and Config makes his own 2 happen for 14 for Complexity.
It's too slow there from Fiend, isn't it? As soon as they initiate that contact, you've got to be opening up the bomb site and getting that bomb down. Instead, it's very stagnated. They have a difficult time being able to trade Poison out on the site. It's not till the HG comes out towards that back of Silo's position in which he's finally dealt with. And Red Star, he's just a lurk play. He's hoping that they can take the site, maybe get that backstab out from ramp, get in from heaven, but he's the one that's needed to come back in and take fights.
Nades up, damage done, play that out, but oh, he's gonna get here, this is very risky! Oh, he's caught 2, doesn't get the 3rd. But still, that's a 2-for-1 with a massively aggressive information play that also knows that there's 2 more players out here. Poison will keep his eyes on here, the footsteps, Bubble will try drop down in from Mini, I imagine. He's gonna be heard though, consistent information gained by Complexity here.
Oh, Poison, who's gonna face
no.
who first? They're sticking by one
What?
another.
Oh god, Poison. No, he's been seen. Bubble knows now. He's got all the outside control to work off. He's going to continue his long campaign. Teams are made very aware of what's going on here. Bubble's going to look for the angle. Will try and catch his man off guard. Can't see the headshot, though. He's going to keep creeping in towards heaven instead.
He could get 2. 2 on the side could be everything, and he's relaying the information over. And there's a backstab outside too, and they're even watching heaven.
Config gets Dreamer to drop now. He tried to fight on towards Poison, finally picks up that kill. 2-on-2. Config caught outside. It's all to rush now. Close vent corner again. And AUG watching for the heaven wrap-up. Bubble, shoulder base, gets the info. Red Star will converge in on him as well. But Bubble completes his flank play, completes his triple, completes the 12th round for Fiend.
Jeez, Bubble is having a map. One hell of a map. 27 kills now. And after Flameif does this outside the early couple of picks, I can't believe JKS even anticipated looking up for that heaven position, but it was the kill to follow up onto the garage player at Poison, and then Red Star's pick on the backstabber 2 from Team Red.
Fiend not going down without a fight in this matchup. Complexity. Unaware this was going to be a tough team to face, even for their own selves. Outside control, passive again from the T side. Expecting there to be aggression from the Complexity camp, but not so reckless this time. They don't have the same amount of firepower.
Oh, Poison. This is one of the first times actually been playing it from Secret, and the double orbs are outside.
Poison gets that first shot, nade in to capture another good player, doesn't quite land. Ag Red Star a little bit, but not a lot here. He gets caught off by Config's AWP instead. Shot on the first man. I mean, there's a second past that smoke, but doesn't see him. And the FAMAS of Rush ready for first contact against Fiend. They're going to slow wrap in towards outside. They will catch off Config, bring a kill back into the Fiend camp, and double up as well. 3-on-3. JKS now. Solo holding the A site. His 2 teammates are back at ramp and in secret. If they commit A now, he's all alone.
It all just comes to this war. Victor has whipped the bomb out from Squeaky. Poison gets the shot from Secret. JKS now towards a close vent position again with the M4, striking onto the first. Victor's now giving away his position as JKS swings in again against Complexity up to 15.
What a hold from Complexity. 15-12 map point. And their map pick, not as hard a punish pick as they would have hoped it, but it still might go their way. Still 3 rounds to make up here for Fiend to take us to overtime, and we have seen our fair share of overtimes over the course of this playoff bracket. Doesn't seem like it will come in for Fiend side, however. They've got 1 final buy. I think it will be limited.
Yeah, without that bomb plant, you'd have to expect so. Even a deagle out for Victor. Scout from Red Star too.
Laid it down so early, seen at the edge of the smoke plane there. Catches his kill, catches Red Star first and foremost. Spray still on Dreamer from JKS past the smoke. Pre-firing squeaky door. 2-man advantage for the CT board.
This is falling apart. I just, you've got to hope for something, right? Someone to go big, someone to force a bit of a mistake for complexity, some over-aggression, but they know better than that. 5-on-3, no one needs to peek here, and no one needs to make any aggressive moves.
Smokes in, Victor's Deagle. Grabs the AK that was dropped there by, I believe that was Dreamer. JKS still waiting, so close to open vent. Gap in that smoke that he'll be able to see. T-side forces from him, so continue to aggressive. Out, Shadow's been seen, transfers his spray towards Han. Han still gets the kill. Victor tagged up all the same, but the spray's back on towards him. And the M4 rush